Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. You are looking live at the NBC Sports HQ. Great photo of Michael Phelps. We got the Olympic rings in the background. Beautiful little artwork of Sunday Night Football.
I'm gonna get sued.
Oh, yeah.
Hear me doing this.
How you doing, man? Would you talk some Jaguars?
Yeah, let's talk some Jaguars. We are going to double dip today, but when Drew has some meetings and I have some stuff going on, we cannot go back to back, which is honestly a grind anyway. So we're going to do one right now, and we are going to do one in 5 hours from now. So we will do the Texans later on today. Podcast will be released just every morning. So I already released one today. This will go out tomorrow.
Okay. Well, unlike Andy, I respect our audience, so I'm going to close my Flash Score tab now that I know Dennis Shapovalov has secured the first set.
There's no
no distractions for me from the U.S. Open, where there are 900 amazing matches flying on.
Sorry that I gave the Chad a plus 270 winner last night.
I think it was plus 290.
Oh, plus 290.
Yeah. That was a great bet.
I did live bet that. So
thank
you to thank you to that 16-year-old player who, I mean, honestly made the goalie look dumb. That was a really nice move. I love it when they just realize they're fucked and the goalie just stands there and looks at it.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
What am I going to do? We've seen plenty of that on the sidelines for the Jaguars over the last couple of years. It's been a rough go. And, 5 years ago, whatever, we had sure thing, can't miss quarterback prospect. And how deep are we? Yeah, it's been 5 years now. And it's like, I still think that's probably true, but Christ almighty, can we get some help here? Can we get some help and, the coaching staff, maybe the GM room, the powers that be, and they have tried again. And, we got rid of GM, we got rid of the coach, and starting over again. And I think this might be it. Yeah, it didn't work for them. Maybe it'll work for us.
You're feeling optimistic about Duval. Is that played? It's cringe. It's cringe now. Yeah, that's kind of the way I felt too.
Well, the way he said it was like, why would you say it like that? Like,
does he have a mental illness? What's happening?
Sounds hateful coming from you.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's like, yeah, do you have a brain injury? Why is he saying it like this? Liam Coen, of course, turns a new page for the Jaguars. I think really, like, if you're a Jaguars fan, you're pretty excited for this fresh start, mostly because Trent Baalke's gone, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm way more pumped about that than Dougie P. Like, I wasn't a huge guy, but I was really not a Trent Baalke guy.
Yeah, but we got to talk a little bit about 2024, because the fact that Doug Peterson made some of the decisions that he did, hiring Ryan Nielsen as a defensive coordinator who brought a scheme that the guys couldn't play, having the defense just flat out quit, all of the kind of philosophy that was, we're just going to have Trevor stand back, let the play develop, and just chuck it down the field. Like, we are going to be an explosive, hit you over the top offense in an era where defenses are very well schemed to stop that. it was kind of a little
jetsy at the end of the year.
A little jetsy. Yeah.
They're not trying as hard.
They're not trying as hard. I really think that it was just an aborted takeoff from Jump Street last year. Like, the plan just didn't make sense. And it came off on the heels of a late season collapse, which a lot of times portends these sort of things. The previous season, where the Jaguars backed their way out of the playoffs with the losing streak down the stretch, was a pretty telltale harbinger of bad vibes in Duval. And I think the losses early, really, I want to kind of point to week 3, like, tough loss with the game-winning field goal from the Dolphins at the death. Tough loss with the Browns, kind of, just eking one out against you, even though they didn't play that well. But then week 3, it was like, okay, we're 0-2. We got to save our season. We got to give a full heart perform effort here at Buffalo. turn this thing around in prime time, Monday Night Football, everyone's watching, and you get eviscerated by the Bills week 3. And I'm pretty sure that at that point, season was over. Everybody was ready. Well, we're 0-3. That was like 8th straight loss for the franchise. And it definitely felt like you didn't ever get full effort out of this team on both sides of the ball for the rest of the season. And I would say that, there would maybe a glimmer, if you want to point to the London game, a glimmer of something positive there. But ultimately, 2-10 through 12 games, 13 weeks of the season. And at that point, I think you were probably wondering what happened to Trevor Lawrence. Were we fooled? Is there, something to be taken away from what you've got from him as a pro to this point that's anything better than like well, maybe we should save this conversation for like a little entirely dedicated portion of the podcast, but definitely questions swirling, I think, in everybody's minds about, well, what is Trevor Lawrence? How do we rate him? And how do you divorce that from what was a poorly coached team, a poorly conceived offense, and an effort poor defense, which I think were the bigger problems for the Jaguars in 2024. And of course, Trevor got hurt as well, which obviously made his season a bit of an incomplete. But yeah,
two spots where you can't get hurt: quarterback and a secondary that wasn't very good to begin with. So Trevor had the AC joint sprain in week 9, missed a little time, comes back, gets a bad concussion, IR for the end of the year. Didn't finish the year out. Ingram missed some time, Kirk missed some time, but the other big ones I mentioned were in the secondary with Tyson Campbell just right off the bat. I think it was week 1 or week 2, just hey, you're on the IR for a good chunk of time now with the hamstring injury. And then Darnell Savage, I think, missed time with the quad, had a concussion. Like, they were not healthy in the secondary, and that secondary stunk to begin with, and kind of running it back, man. They tried, but it's not a defense, I think, that has been fixed. And yeah, I worry that we wasted some good years of Trevor's career with bad schemes, bad coaches, bad coordinators, bad offensive lines. And it should be hopefully an improvement this year, but again, we'll see.
Do you think there is signal in the fact that Trevor was unable to overcome the circumstances? Because he clearly has the arm talent. He can make all of the throws, and he can listen to instructions and follow directions and try to execute what you're telling him to. But I feel like maybe
scheme. He can't call the plays.
Yeah,
can't call them all, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, why is it that certain quarterbacks can overcome bad scheme and Trevor can't? Right? Like is there like a clear tier defining quality where if he is not being asked to do the right thing, then it's just not going to work?
Yeah, I mean, the elites of the elites just elevate everyone around him, but I don't think he was that bad. I think a big part of their lack of success, like, he was clearly middle of the pack for me. I don't think he was below average. And they had basically your best player on offense was a rookie who was still getting his feet wet, and the defense was atrocious. It's hard to win games no matter what. So I think maybe a more elite quarterback would have elevated the team more, but he's still young, and he's in his 4th system now. So he's been hamstrung his whole career here.
I'm kind of stuck on this one because I just don't feel like there's much reason to continue to make excuses for why it hasn't looked better to this point in his career.
But I can't rate him incredibly highly because of that. A lot of the rating I'm going to give is more of a Coen thing, where I just think this offense is going to take a huge step forward because of the scheme and the play calling. And he's been a perfectly fine quarterback, perfectly cromulent quarterback.
Perfectly cromulent.
And who's been in, bad systems with weird decisions at wide receiver, and again, bad offensive lines at times. So I'm not out on him, but I'm not making enough excuses where like, hey, this is just a top 10 guy caught in a bad situation.
So when he came out,
middle of the pack for me, slightly above.
When he came out, it was like, this is a can't miss. This guy has a national title. He has all of the physical tools. He checks every box in terms of size, height, weight, all that stuff. Like there was no compromising that he was going to be a capable NFL quarterback. He wins one playoff game and a game in which he struggled mightily for half of the game. And the comeback win was enough to get him paid. And now you've passed the portion of the value, the surplus value that you get with a young quarterback when you have a guy. And if he's not going to be better than middle of the pack, then what hope really is there that the Jaguars going to exceed expectations, I guess, is where my head is at. I just want to say, from the time he's been in the NFL, we now have a 2,453 play sample, Andy. It's big. It's big. And you know who is outperforming him with a similar sample size? Mitch Trubisky, Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan is an MVP award.
Okay. All right.
I just don't want to put him in that. Mitch Trubisky is a perfectly good point maker, I think.
Okay, Mitch Trubisky.
Trubisky is a great runner.
Yeah. Russell Wilson has outperformed him going back to his time in the NFL. The laundry list of names that are ahead of him are a lot of guys that we don't really hold in high esteem. And he is 38th in EPA per play over this sample size. And yeah, I mean, his dot is on top of Mitch Trubisky's, which doesn't feel right considering how he's perceived.
Yeah, it kind of feels, it's still going to be such a terrible defense. Like, the only upside for this team this year, if they outperform expectations and if they play well, it's him in the offense. It has to be. There isn't a world where like, oh, this defense is a lot better than I thought it'd be. And look at them go. It just doesn't seem feasible considering the roster. So if this team is going to win the division, I don't know if wild card coming out of the South feels like a thing I should say out loud, but if the team is going to make the playoffs by winning the South, it is going to be on Trevor Lawrence taking a step forward because of this new offense. And I think that's a thing that can happen. I don't know how likely it is. I think it's going to be better, but again, you're going to be fighting the fact that you're giving up 28 points a game.
Okay.
And here, I love Liam Coen, just what he's done in what he did last year. He did make Levis Levis had a really good year at Kentucky.
Yeah, I just I don't know, man. Like,
and they played some damn good teams. It's an SEC schedule, man.
It's concerning if like you're in a cluster of QBs who's behind Kyler Murray, behind Geno Smith, right? Like, these are guys
I'm not saying it's not concerning.
Yeah.
It's just. It's also who you're going to war with this year, and you have to hope for the best. And if you're Liam Coen, you have to say, this is what I'm working with. I have to bring this kid up a notch, and it's going to be by coaching him up and installing a better scheme. I guess they have a really good second-year receiver. They're bringing in another kid that isn't going to be expected to be the wide receiver one. So you're giving him the tools. Like, if he fails this year, it's not a great offensive line, but if he fails strongly in this new system, then next year, I think we have the conversation like, holy shit.
What do we do?
That now we're in a weird spot.
I'm teetering on that place already.
Well, I think we don't have to wait till the year's over to be there. Like, we can decide that after 6 weeks, I think.
And I guess, I would have said a lot of the same stuff about Baker Mayfield before he got together with Dave Canales and then Liam Coen. And Liam Coen certainly did a lot of things I really liked last year with Tampa Bay, and that could be enough to really change the fortunes of his career arc. But I feel like he might be subject to sort of that same arrested development philosophy that applies to a lot of these young quarterbacks who go to bad organizations that are poorly run and don't get consistent development into, and to make the most out of his talents. And that he might have just stalled out at some point in terms of his ability. And that sucks because although he seemed like he was a cannot miss, and ultimately it might be a miss. And I feel like right now the playoff yes, no odds for the Jaguars suggest it's pretty likely they're not making the playoffs. And I don't know what the perception is of you as a quarterback that you're getting paid what he's been paid now for these last 3 years if he's missed the playoffs in all 3 seasons.
In an incredibly tough division.
The one year they won it by the skin of their teeth, didn't they? I don't know, man.
The year that they screwed it up, like that was a hard bottling.
Oh, it was. They were 9-3. I think they were tiebreaker in hand with the 1 seed.
At that point, they were talking like Jags 1 seed. Oh, yeah. Nope.
Wait. They weren't talking about Andy. We were talking about it because I had 30-1 in pocket, and I was just delighted. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is all plans all coming together." And then no, everything went completely fucking sideways.
They did have a pretty bad playoff game that 1 year too.
You were talking about the first half against the Chargers.
Well, yeah, that
they ended up winning.
Yeah,
that's his only playoff win.
Yeah, that was
game where he threw 4 picks in half.
He goes out there and puts up a stinker, and then the Chargers have just. He's like he was playing a absolutely cursed franchise.
Yeah, if he wasn't playing a cursed franchise,
if it would have been any other team, Dave, they would have not been able to do that.
Yeah. Well, last year was a completely lost year. Their defense put together the 2 single game worst performances of any team in the NFL. Can you believe that? Their games in terms of EPA per play allowed against Buffalo and Detroit were the single 2 worst games that any defense put on tape all year.
How many passing plays of 20 plus yards do you think they gave up last year? The answer is the most.
I'm gonna get. God, I don't even know if I can come up with the fair ballpark number. I'm gonna say 42.
71.
Oh my God,
that's a lot.
Impossible.
They were dead last in pass defense. The offense
is that 4 per game?
It's a lot.
God damn. How is that possible?
4 per game is 68.
Oh my God.
So actually, missing Trevor for 7 games sucked, but it wasn't like a team that was, oh man, if he'd have been there, boy, we'd have been right there. So, I like the firings. Don't know how I feel about Gladstone. Little wet behind the ears, but we'll see how it goes. You got to give a GM 2 or 3 years before you can properly evaluate them. I think the defensive numbers maybe look worse than they were because of the quitting and the injuries, and then just the run game turned out to be bad too after becoming a very bad defense in both phases of the game. And they needed to upgrade the offensive line in the offseason. They needed to upgrade the secondary. They needed more depth everywhere. I don't know that they got any of that done with enough gusto for me to be excited about the moves that they made in the offseason. Like, hey, I really, really liked the kid you drafted, and that's about it, guys.
I thought they had a good draft overall. Gladstone putting his nuts on the table day 1 was pretty impressive.
Your first move is like giving up next year's first to go get what could be a franchise changer.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have a second round at that point, so they drafted Caleb Ransaw, a defensive back. Wyatt, I don't know if it's Milam or Milam. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But big tackle. He's gonna play guard though. Doesn't have the footwork. Doesn't have the speed for outside. So you have some guard depth there. Bashul Tootin, the running back that every best ball guy loves. We'll see. He's going to be a return game contributor. Jack Kaiser, linebacker, and then some more depth guys at linebacker, safety, offensive line, and another running back. I don't think he makes the squad though. So yeah, you went and got the spots you needed. You needed some depth at running back. You needed some depth at offensive line. You needed help in the secondary, and you needed linebackers. You went and got it all. Plus, you had Travis Hunter. So it probably was a good draft overall. It just they had so many holes. It just wasn't filled enough at this point, I don't think.
Okay. There's still a lot of Trent Baalke fingerprints on this team, which is going to take a couple of years to cleanse, I'm going to guess. They missed their win total last year by 4.5 games. Excuse me. They didn't even sniff it. They were expected to be an average team. I think my rating on them heading into last year was pretty average. I might even had them as a plus team. Let me take a look. Jacksonville. Plus. I was a plus on them. I was a plus 1.1. Wow. They finished the season a significant minus for me. That was the biggest downgrade of any team over the balance of the season, besides the Saints, and that was for a different reason. But I guess that was the same reason. They both turned out not to have a quarterback by the end of the year.
Doing something crazy.
What's that?
I'm not going to tell you the number because I don't want to spoil the end. My number for the Jags to start last season, almost identical to this year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Huh? You're kidding?
Yeah.
I was way rosy on their offense last year. I'm much cooler. And I had their defenses average last year, and this year I think they're going to be one of the worst in the NFL. So I'm not even close. I'm closer to where I ended the season with them last year.
Offense, and I'm kind of in the same spot with you on defense. It is dumpster fire-esque at this point.
Okay. Well, they did underachieve their Pythag by 1.5 wins. They were absolutely dreadful against the spread, as you can imagine, a team that goes 4-13 and underachieves to the degree that they had. They were, oh my gosh, completely take it back. I correction and retraction. Am I looking at the right year? This can't be right. They were 10-6-1 against the spread last year. Yeah, wow. The market dumped on them, and then other than the games against Buffalo and Detroit, they pretty much the game against Chicago, they were pathetic, but otherwise they were pretty respectful. That surprises me for some reason. I remember them just being an absolute tire fire, toxic bet, but as an underdog against the spread, they were 8-4. Andy,
let's go. A lot of those games with the backup quarterback.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true.
It was Mac that stepped in for most of it, I think, right?
Mac Jones started 7 of the 17 games. The other 10 were Trevor Lawrence games. The overall kind of strength of your roster, I mean, your best player was rookie Brian Thomas last year. I don't think that's really arguable. I don't really know what Trevon Walker is in this NFL at this point. Like he, clearly can do some things well. He's probably getting overcompensated. He probably was never worthy of that selection. You can make an argument for probably 3 or 4 other guys that they should have taken there. But that there's just only a handful of kind of pillars, and they're all kind of middling as opposed to kind of true blue chip players from what I can tell across this squad overall. It's a pretty weak roster, I think.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, the offseason needed to be a spot to fix some things. They went and tried. They got Patrick McCarry. They got Robert Hainsey to help. McCarry's a good pass blocker. Stabilizes the offensive line a little, but I don't think it's enough. Hainsey, I don't know how much of an upgrade you have him over Luke Fortner, but they were good moves, but it's just not enough for me to respect the overall unit of an offensive line. And then the one move I really did like was the Jordan Lewis move. They went and got a cornerback from Dallas.
Yeah,
kind of your nickel slot guy. He's good, but it's still, as a whole, I don't know if it's enough to really move the needle on the secondary. You went and got Eric Murray. Where did he come from again? Houston. another safety to fill in because you've had some injuries there. I remember, as I mentioned, Savage missed some time last year. You went after the spots where you needed help, but I don't know if it was enough for massive upgrades for either of those units. De'Ami Brown is now your third wide receiver, fast guy. He can play outside. That's fine, especially when it's Brian Thomas Jr. and boy, I can never remember this guy's name. I can picture him. I just always want to say Sanders because I associate him
Travis
so much
Hunter?
with Travis Hunter. I know I can't.
I did not think that was
his name. Always gets stuck in my throat because I just picture all them damn Sanders boys.
Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter.
I know, and it drives me up a wall because I do this like 3 times a day. So De'Ami Brown is fine when your other 2 wide receivers are those guys. You brought in Nick Mullins as a backup quarterback. I don't know if that does. Johnny Munt. You brought in a bunch of tight ends to backfill there, and then some depth pieces at up front, as well as Dennis Gardick, who was kind of flashing for Arizona last year as a pass rusher, and then tore the shit out of his knee. I think he's still maybe recovering, or I have to check on the Dennis Gardick status.
Well, he's not pupped. So
I think he might be good to go. Active and expected, yeah, because it was in October when he tore his knee. In my mind, it was much later than that. So, all right, he's good to go, and he's probably a plus at outside linebacker. It's they play a 4-3, but he's going to definitely do some pass rushing downs for sure. And he was flashing, like I said. I like him.
Okay. Well, I thought that the way that they allocated their resources in the offseason, it was pretty clear that they wanted to get the offense fixed this year, and the defense will just deal with it next year.
Yeah.
That was kind of the sense that I got. And deal with it next year without your first round pick is going to be interesting because you're going to need you got a lot of holes to fill. I didn't really think any of their free agent moves in defense moved the needle. Travis Hunter, obviously, if he can play both sides of the football, which I'm dying to know, could potentially help elevate your secondary. It was interesting that he was perceived as a generational talent, certainly as a cornerback coming into the draft cycle. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars have been pretty candid, I feel, that they are going to play him both ways, but I get the sense that it's more important for him to contribute offensively than defensively. Do you get that sense?
Yeah, it does feel like, hey, he's a wide receiver. And it kind of goes back to the point you made about 90 seconds ago. They're trying to fix the offense first, which I think makes sense because they're in the same boat we are with Trevor. It's like we saw 5 years to this kid. Is he somebody we're going to have for the next 10? Is he somebody that we want to build around?
I mean, he's almost certainly is your quarterback this year and next year.
Well, you have to because of the contract, but like long-term plans, are we trying to figure something else out because this guy's just never going to elevate to a top 10 guy that can win us playoff games? And to do that, you have to surround him with some players. And it does feel like the move is, let's figure out this offense this year. The defense is a long ways away. Maybe we pick up some players here and there. And I think there'll be a lot of that where, guys who are on the second line are waived or released, and they bring in other people and they rotate a lot of people through this year to try to find some flashes. Like, hey, this guy he's a rotational guy that just wasn't fitting in somewhere else because they aren't going to be able to spend a lot of money on it. And obviously the trade market dies down once the season starts. So the defense just feels fucked.
Yeah, I agree with that. Way too many holes. And I guess, I hate to belabor this. I'll just try to make the final point here. But Trevor, the fact that you have to put all the pieces, it all has to be set up for him perfectly. And you have to have a play caller who's calling the game well. And, just the fact that a guy with his level of talent and his kind of pedigree as the true 1.01 in a very sought after position. The fact that it's got to have this much additional investment around him for it to work is I think an indictment. It's a problem. And, to me at least, like it should work this year. This should be an offense that we look up halfway through the season and we're like, oh, good on them. This is working. They are scoring 25, 30 points a game. Like they are, the able to at least be entertaining and competitive and, a fun watch, even if we don't think they're gonna, a team that I would ever lay points with or expect is gonna go toe to toe with the elites on their schedule. But yeah, I there's certainly an upside here where this is a top 10 or a borderline top 10 offense. I'll say that. And I think excited to see how Travis Hunter is utilized. I agree with you. Diami Brown is a nice, kind of complementary piece. I worry a bit about downgrading from Ingram to Bretton Strange, just because Ingram did feel like he vibed pretty strongly with Lawrence. You mentioned the running back room being a little bit complicated. We know for sure that if they had not made the trade up for Hunter at 2, they would have taken Ashton Genty, the running back. So pretty obviously they felt like that positional group needed to be upgraded. And I think Baishal Tootin is probably going to ultimately end as a pretty important piece in this puzzle of who's getting the roles and responsibilities in that backfield. Some people really still think Tank Bigsby has an important role. Some people think Travis Etienne Jr. has an important role. I really think it's kind of a three-headed monster, and they're just going to try to see who ultimately steps up. Probably not unlike what Liam Coen dealt with last year in Tampa Bay, where at long last they finally settled on the right guy in Bucky Irving. But it's a decent enough run blocking line that they should be able to at least have balanced offense here. And as long as they can keep Trevor Lawrence upright and he is able to utilize his weapons, then there's no reason that they can't be a top 10 scoring offense.
100%. It's kind of where I'm at. So, anything else on the off season for our last?
Not really. I guess.
Christian Kirk no longer here? Evan Ingram no longer here. Andre Cisco is a Jet. Cam Robinson got traded last year.
Yeah.
That was like middle of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went to the Vikings, and I thought he was kind of disappointing. And now he's a Texan, which kind of feels right. Let's look at the schedule. It is a difficult early, easy late, imbalanced schedule with a lot of travel. You are logging frequent flyer miles for the Jaguars this year, and I think the general feeling that I get is if there's hope that the Jags turn things around, it's probably not happening in the months of September and October. It's probably happening in post-bye space where they get some more favorable matchups and that they can, they're not up against world-beating offenses. What do you think?
You play a bunch of tough teams and you play half of them on the damn road, which is how things work. Half your games are on the road, but at Cincy, with your defense,
good luck.
It's going to be a tough road to hoe. At the Niners, there just the travel spot, playing a tough team. At least it's early in the season when they don't have the wide receivers figured out yet. Kansas City in prime time. It's at home, but it's still Kansas City. Again, the Rams game is at home. That's nice. International game. And so one of your home games.
Well, it's your home away from home.
It is your home away from home, but one of your home games against a tough team is not a home game. You did take your bye after you traveled to London, which is nice. A couple of winnable games, although at Houston, if your offense is not driving at that time, that's not who you want to see on your schedule with that defense. And then that late season, December 21st at Denver. That stinks. That's not. We say like going to altitude early in the season's tough, but as a Florida team going to Denver in Christmas time, it could be kind of shitty out. Not what you want to see either. So, bunch of tough spots in the schedule mixed in with the winnable games. It does feel very middle of the packy team for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think the key is just going to be taking Jacksonville on when they're up against bad defenses. because those are the games where you can realistically expect that they may be able to get out and hold a lead with their pass rush. Maybe. Maybe. The games where you are up against bad defenses, Cincinnati is a fun one. Jags, Cincy, I don't know that I'm going to have a final. I don't know that we're going to know who's the worst defense between those two for a little while. They're very similar to me. Same strengths, same weaknesses. I think the Las Vegas defense is pretty brutal. That's a game where you should score some points. And then, Indianapolis has weaknesses in the secondary, which they're vulnerable, but that we're only talking about a handful of games where you really can hope your offense shines enough to hold off your opponent. There's a world where your pass rush can offset, can take advantage of Houston's weak offensive line, and you can just hold Houston down enough to have a chip challenge chance. But feels tough that your offense is for sure going to get it done against the defense that's that good. Actually, that's a fun kind of breakneck spot week 3. Do you like that? We got Carolina, Jacksonville, 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL week 1. You have Cincinnati, Jacksonville, 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL week 2.
And then you play
my
top-ranked defense. Yeah.
You break neck to one of the best defenses, and oh, by the way, an offense against your defense that may not be able to take advantage of your weaknesses. So like you could get a nice little
under 47.
Jags games need to start with 5, and then under 47.
I still don't know if that one gets to 5, man. That one might. I mean, if it opens like 48-49, it feels like it gets slammed under anyway.
Which one? The Houston one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just saying, like after Jacksonville, Carolina, like spoiler alert, that total 46. Excuse me, get the fuck out of here. That was a mistake, and that is probably one of the worst totals on the board for week 1.
I honestly, I think that total is assuming Thielen's traded because.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those are just they have a long tail to the over. And then, like you mentioned, it feels like, I don't know if there's look-ahead lines. I'd make that like 47 as far as what they should open and will open. And then it's another one of those, like, what if we took under 30.5 at whatever number they'd give us?
That'd be fun. Yeah, that's a really nice spot. And then come back on the over against San Francisco. And then, God damn it, team secret pod play team total. I can already tell you what week 5's is. It's Kansas City's. Yeah. These guys are going to have their hands full, no question. All right. No realistic reason to involve yourself with the Jaguars in Survivor, as far as I can tell you. Again, hat tip and thanks to our gracious hosts at Circa, who are putting on the millions number contests for the 7th year, and Survivor, which the prize pool is tracking for the high teens, low 20s, and they continue to set records. Congratulations to them. Go out, sign up in the desert, in the state of Nevada. You can go to Reno too. You can go Sparks. You can go Sparks if you want. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere. Circa Survivor, Circa Millions.
Get a hat.
Get a hat. Is there any reason to get contrarian and weird and take Jacksonville week 1?
No, I like Carolina.
Oh, okay. Really? Let's see what my number is for that game.
Oh, God.
So you're out on Jacksonville as a contrarian pick for Survivor week 1?
Oh, I mean, I'd have to look at it. I haven't looked at the whole board for Survivor yet. I'm kind of pushing that off, but they didn't make the list. They're not on my short list.
My number for that game is 2.7. My total for that game is 49. And I feel like my total might be low. Those are my 31st and 32nd best defenses in the NFL.
It just feels like a bad time to find out that it's going to take a few weeks for the Coen effect to take in when they score, 19 points and lose by 30.
Yeah. Any other schedule observations you want to make? I mean, like the travel is
a lot of travel. You see how much orange there is on
a lot of that. Your bye is neutralized because Vegas is also coming off of their bye week 9. Not a lot of rest to kind of be worried about either way. You effectively still do get a home game against the Rams in London. LA to London, not a great trip, although LA is East Coast and may go directly to London, which would be funny if you were the second team to arrive for that London game and the first team is from Los Angeles. But yeah, the set a reminder to look for travel notes the week of the 12th, so we know what happens after they host Seattle. Did they go directly to LA?
Yeah, I would think so. And it is nice, all things considered, especially how often they travel to London every year. But to go home, and then London, where you don't have much. The last time you traveled was 3 weeks prior. So to have that space in there before you have to make the flight over to London, that's not so bad.
Well, the look-aheads imply 8 wins. That actually feels pretty correct, if not a little bit bullish for me. Let's rate these guys. Unless you have any other follow-up thoughts.
No, nothing else on 2024 or what else we're getting into. But yeah, I have a higher offensive rating than you. We talked a little off air. I haven't given you all my numbers, but I put in just a big upgrade at offensive coordinator. I went with a 6 here because I think in my mind and how I have them rated, just compared to it's not just looking at the quarterbacks that started last year. It's the quarterbacks that are starting this year. I make Trevor Lawrence a 5, and I'm going to give him a little upgrade because of what I was able to see last year with a guy coming in for 1 year and just kind of improving on what Canales did.
So if I make no adjustments for Coen, I'm at a 3.4 for Trevor Lawrence. 3.4 because the last 2 years, and I'm time waiting here. He was a negative 0.09 EPA per play in 23, negative 0.07 EPA per play in 24. He's trending the wrong way, and I
get that, Drew.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of that's without context too. It's just using the raw numbers. He played through a bunch of injuries, and he played with a bunch of Jags. So I mean, just kind of adjusting for context there. I don't believe he's a 34th percentile quarterback. I can't watch him play and see the arm he has and say that and be happy with that number.
Okay. I adjusted up half standard deviation in terms of expected EPA per play because of the presence of Coen, and I'm at 4.4. So I'm just a hair below average.
I assume this is where going to be our big difference.
If I come in with a 6 for him, I have the Jags as basically a plus team, which cannot abide.
I'm still on the other side of 0.
Okay. Skill group for me is 6.5.
I'm at a 6 here. Like I said, the running back room, people are excited, not as excited, but 2 very good wide receivers to start with. One has never played, but we expect big things, and De'Ami Brown, you can do a lot worse for a wide receiver 3. You mentioned tight end, a lot of new faces there. We'll see how that goes. So highs, running back and tight end could be a little higher for me.
Okay. Where's your O-line?
3.
3.0 exactly. We agree.
Yeah. They like we said, they made those moves, but I don't know that like Walker Little and Anton Harrison it's a below average as a whole.
They look like pass protection could be a little sus.
Yeah. I mean, Makari's good. That's going to be good pass pro over there. But as a unit, you lack continuity. You lack anybody showing that they were, an above average player last year. And the depth isn't good. I mean, they're talking left guard, that rookie, Wyatt Milam. Do you see who he's starting behind?
Ezra Cleveland.
They're saying he might be better than Ezra.
I feel like you use that joke every year.
I don't know what you're laughing at.
I think you use that joke every year.
That was a bit of a
It's an actual narrative. Yeah, an actual
that's
camp
an actual
narrative.
Yeah. This guy might be starting midseason. So it's very much below average. Prove me wrong, guys.
I'm prepared to go up on them if it turns out that a lot of my perception was born out of the fact that they were asked to pass protect for infinity last year, because that was mostly what I felt like was the failing of what Dougie P was trying to do last year. Was he was just trying to he was forcing Trevor to hold onto the ball for an eternity to let the plays develop down the field before unloading, and it created a lot of lack of successful plays, I thought. So yeah, maybe we upgrade these guys as we see a little bit of improved performance, because I'm guessing the scheme from Coen is going to look like Buck's scheme, and it's going to have a million creative screen passes and some short stuff mixed in with the shots. Would you agree?
Yeah, this is a kind of a floor rating because I don't know what the offense is going to look like, but I didn't want to give him a bump for scheme because I already gave quarterback a bump for.
Oh yeah, no question.
I didn't kind of want to double count Coen, but it's an offensive line that can move up for me because, like I said, I'm not excited about anyone in here, but none of them are just absolute trash in my mind. This is a bunch of almost average guys, along with I think McCarty's a pretty good protector.
Okay. They are my 18th best offense. What about you?
14th.
Wow.
Again, feels high. That's Andy in love. Oof. Andy having a big crush on Liam Coen.
Oh yeah. Well, he came through for you last year. Defense is not as rosy. 31st best defense for me. I gave their run stop a 2.5. Am I low?
Oh, I lost my tab here. No, 2.4 for me.
Okay.
That was a big struggle last year. It was hard to synthesize some of the results since we did see the games and realize like they were quitting at times and they had some injured players, but I don't see how that improves greatly at this point.
Yep. Pass rush is the bright spot on the defense, given that they have Josh Hines Allen and I guess whatever Trayvon Walker is. I gave them a 3.1. It's still a weak interior pressure unit, and I am just, I guess, a little lukewarm on those two main pieces. What about you?
They were good. It's just the unit as a whole, there's not a lot of backfilling after that. There's not a lot of rotational guys that are able to step up when those guys aren't getting it done. And like you said, the interior pressure isn't great. So I have a 3.9. That's my highest spot there. They brought in some guys to backfill, Smoot, Ogba. They have some second string names now that are going to rotate through. We'll see how they play. And Dennis Gardick. The Dennis Gardick experience.
Okay. Do you think, or have you bought or heard anything about Eric Armstead and his seeming resurgence this year? And do you think he'll have any kind of impact on the interior, or is this still weak up the spine?
It would be nice. He was he won an award last year.
What was it? Walter Payton Man of the Year.
He did win Walter Payton Man of the Year. So,
no kidding.
He got that going for him. I don't know the switch back inside. I guess part of that is probably just because they didn't get a lot of interior pressure and they need someone to do it. But I don't know how big he is.
Yeah. I'm at 2.4 for coverage, and I don't know if I might just be done with Tyson Campbell, but I certainly don't have a strong opinion of how to rate Jerry and Jones. Jordan Lewis, I didn't especially love his tape. And I think the secondary can be beat as well. So this is a rough coverage unit. What do you think?
I do like Jordan Lewis. I think that was a good signing. He's another one that you got to throw a heavy dose of context on if you want to say anything nice about him, because he had to play on a defense that was, big chunks of the season were missing his battery mates that mattered a lot. And that couldn't stop the run. So he was having to be involved in a lot more car crash plays than probably he hoped to be. I think he's a good nickel corner. It's still like what do I got? 3.4? Yeah, 3.4. So I'm higher than you, and I have a pretty terrible rating on that as well.
Okay.
It's my 30th best defense, it looks like.
What's your intangible number for this squad?
10. It's Coen. I assume so. First time coaching, it's hard to give him a big number, but I mean, I still think he's going to be ahead of the curve. I went with a 3.
Okay, that seems reasonable. I was at a 4. I don't have a great defense for why I'm higher than you. What about special teams? Now, this could be a 10.
7.25.
Did you see that kid
Yeah,
kick that 70-yard field goal?
Not only that, but they were, I think, 5th or 6th in special teams DVOA last year. And then the other metrics that I look at, I think they were, their composite number was like top 5. They're a very good special teams unit.
Okay. In totality, my Jags power number is a minus 2.37. They would rank 25th in the NFL. Other than being excited about them scoring points and giving up a bunch of points, I'm not sure what I'm going to be betting with these guys in the futures market, but let's look at the numbers anyway. What is your final power rating for the Jags, Andy?
Minus 0.8.
Okay. So this is fun.
This might be one of our bigger disagreements.
It is one of our bigger disagreements, and it's an important disagreement because I am below market by 0.6 and you are above market by 0.6.
What were they ranked? Your 25th best team?
25th best team. Yeah. What about you?
22nd.
But the pretty decent straddle on the market power number, which is a minus 1.8.
I still have them projected for 8 wins. 8.04.
I'm at 7.8 wins.
Yeah.
So even though we're different. Huh, interesting. That's funny how that works out. Well, I think you could convince me or twist my arm that the Jags will be among the highest scoring offenses in the NFL this year. And if you could get a price on, like, I don't know, most points scored or something like that, there might be a fun super high upside bet to make on these guys. Trevor Lawrence most passing yards is probably worth considering. The most points conceded is definitely up for grabs for them. But the general spirit I get here is that they're going to need to score 30 points in a given week to feel comfortable about getting the dub.
I wish that was a market. Most points, like the grand salami of games, where it's like most points conceded plus scored in all 17 games. That's a fun market.
That is fun.
I'm going to talk to somebody. I feel like we could get that number up.
Cincinnati's going to be the clear market fave there, but I would give Jags a long list.
I'm gonna DM Dave Mason, see if he'll put that up, because it's 2 markets. You're just combining 2 markets and remaking a number.
Yeah, for sure. All right, the Jags we mentioned yesterday are about plus 320 to win the South. I don't feel like there's a strong case to be made that Hunter can be your offensive rookie of the year, but maybe I'm underappreciating his brilliance. I remember back during the draft, we had good jokes about that would be so cool if he won offensive and defensive rookie of the year. I feel like that has cooled off substantially and feels like a very long shot to be live. Just too many good pass rushers now in the mix. I think Trevor Lawrence MVP consideration days are long behind him. Yeah. And I think Liam Coen Coach of the Year is maybe the only superlative, maybe the only awards market Jags, opinion that I would listen to. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think they're getting. I don't think we're betting Walker Little Protector of the Year.
Trayvon Walker is not the DPOY.
No, Tootin 60 to 1.
Tootin O'Roy.
What was our last? Was it Saquon? Was our last running back O'Roy?
Was he?
Boy, I'm gonna have to think on that one a second. I'm gonna pull it up here while you're talking. I can't think of any. Other awards that we would betting for. So Daniels, Stroud, Wilson, Chase, Herbert, Murray. Yep. It's been quarterbacks and then the two wide receivers. There's Barkley before him. So went Alvin Kamara and Barkley back to back. Gurley in 2015.
Wow. So this is really no longer
Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy in 2013. My goodness.
Eddie Lacy won Rookie of the Year. Oh
Adrian Peterson. That was kind of a bang on no brainer one when he came. Cadillac Williams. That was a fun season for him. It used to, so, and here's fun. Here's the fun part. Go to the 90s. 1980. Oh my God. We went from 86. We went running back 87, running back 88, running back 90. Emmitt Smith, running back in 91, running back in 93, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8 was Randy Moss. 9, 2000, 2001, 2002. It used to be a running back award. Not so much anymore. It's very much a quarterback, or if you have a wide receiver, in lieu of a good quarterback. BTJ, Offensive Player of the Year, is a fun one. I think you mentioned that in the past, Sam, but yeah, that's a good one.
You putting any stock in the dropsies?
It's correctable.
Yeah,
hit the jugs machine, motherfucker.
Okay, final thoughts on the Jaguars.
Yeah,
it sounds like a team that you're going to be betting more than I am.
It's like the Bengals, but not as fun. It's a big cat too, which is fun. But yeah, it's like a shitty version of the Bengals, right? Where the offense has a lot of upside. Granted, the Bengals have like an Offensive Player of the Year on their team and a better quarterback, but it should be a good offense and it's just an atrocious defense. So maybe the games are fun.
T-Law, comeback player of the year.
You know who I'd compare them to?
Shouldn't he be favored for comeback player of the year?
You know who we should compare him to? The 2025 Liverpool squad.
All
very
offense,
fun,
no defense.
Very fun team, but can't defend.
Yeah.
Many are saying should do more EPL comparisons this year.
Absolutely.
But all the matches are going to be fun. And we might have the same thing with the Jags. It's going to be fun to watch, tougher to bet.
What do you think Trevor Lawrence realistically should be high up in the list for comeback player?
He did miss 7 games. What if he throws for 4,500 yards?
I think that's not crazy.
If he gets it in this new system, and now he has a couple of good receivers. I mean, just the counting stats: stay healthy for 17 games, be in the mix for the playoffs, throw for 4,500 yards. He's getting talked about for that for sure. Like, that is the true nature. That's the spirit of the award. It's like a guy who missed a bunch of time last year and turned around and played really well. Again, the bang on no brainer of all time. The same guy I just mentioned for Rookie of the Year was when AP did it. He tore an ACL and then he ran for 2,000 yards.
Did you know that he's gotten comeback player of the year votes before?
He's missed time a couple times.
He started 17 games in 2021, but in 2022 he finished 12th in comeback player of the year voting.
It was coming back from playing with Urban.
Amazing. He overcame playing with Urban Meyer. He was 7th in MVP voting 2022 with a 9-8 record and 4,000 yards passing.
Here's a good question from a Canadian. I assume if Jags win the division and win 12 games, does he get MVP consideration, or is it Coen Coach of the Year? I really think it's the latter.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, if they win 12 games,
12 is a big number, but 12, yeah,
it'd be tough to do it. But also, for him to get MVP consideration, I think it's 12 or 13 games plus a 4,500 yard, 40 touchdown season, where he is very much considered like to have turned his career around. And, it has to happen immediately because we have to be talking about it all year. Oh my God, this guy, and he might have 2 games to start it. What if he has 800 yards and 7 touchdowns after the first 2 weeks? I mean, he could jumpstart a campaign, but it has to be a pretty clean year where he plays all the games and has just ridiculous counting stats. Maybe another 5 rushing touchdowns, or you just can't ignore him and he has to be in the mix. Is there a good buy point for Coen Coach of the Year? Do you think it fluctuates with that schedule? It's not like there's a long stretch of bad games.
I do think it does fluctuate with the schedule. They're tough. I mean, because like they're tough games. I'm assuming that they're not going to be up to speed until. Assuming they're not going to be up to speed until after that San Francisco, KC, Seattle stretch. Really, it's not till after that. It's not their bye. This to me looks like a team that's going to be 2-5 going into their bye, and then coming out of their bye, you could win those Vegas, Houston. You might beat the Chargers. You might beat the Cardinals. You could definitely beat Tennessee and D Jets. Like you could rip off, like a 7-1 stretch coming out of your bye, where people sit up and take notice and they're like, "Wow, Coen has really got these guys turned around." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's revisit this. We want to set a reminder, November 1st.
Yeah, let's do a
Halloween.
Let's do a calendar.
Halloween. Coen, Coach of the Year. Let's check in on Coen Coach of the Year number. What is it? How do we feel about his upcoming schedule? Because it's about to get easy. Seems like the right approach. I'm not betting any Coen Coach of the Year preseason.
Yes, good shit.
Oh my God, refresh already calendar. I don't know how it logs me out. So I think some of this traveling I did logged me out because like, why are you logged in? I have remote access to my computer too. So it's like, why are you in 2 different states, Andy? Because I can be. All right. So November 1st, November 3rd, we got a task. And that task is Liam Coen Brothers. Let's go. It's saved. No other takes. No other takes on Jacksonville. Let's talk later today. We'll do some Houston Texans, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. That is noon Hawaii time, I believe. And if you're having that, if it's noon in Hawaii, why don't you just go enjoy the beach instead? Let's do it later. See you guys. Do, 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 do.